Hey, fatty, your kids have bad habits because of you, so shape up right now.
Hey, welcome to the Art of Fatherhood. I'm Brian LaFauci.
And I'm Patrick Marino.
And today we're going to talk about eating healthy.
As of this filming, we have an important holiday coming up.
We do have an important
It's
holiday.
It's one of the. If you watch some of our early reels,
oh, good.
Some of our take fives are freaking amazing, salty and sweet. If you watch some of our early reels, this led to those. Halloween.
Oh,
it's Halloween into Thanksgiving into Christmas. It's really, really hard.
it's a tough time of year.
I would normally not eat these on, what's today? We film on like Thursday mornings.
Yeah.
I usually wouldn't eat.
Yeah, we had to do it for the podcast. I mean, had to do it. But I don't know if you do this, but we're talking today about what we model for our kids, right? And how to model healthy eating habits because it's important. And I'll track those calories. So one of the ways that I try to, and this is interesting because there's different schools of thought on this within the nutrition counseling world, especially working with kids. Like, do you get kids to track their calories or not? And a lot of nutrition counselors working with kids will say no, absolutely not, because they're going to overfocus and things like that.
You don't want to have an obsession. You don't want to put your obsession with food and transfer that to them. You want them to have a healthy relationship with their diet.
And it's tough because...
And their diet, not mean, I mean like what they eat. Not,
right.
Not like go on a diet.
Yes. You know, and as someone who's older with low T that we keep bringing up, I don't know. I just want to clarify to the listeners that there is no low T issue going on here. It's become more of a running joke. But now
all the tea. We got all the tea is in here.
All the tea.
No lack of tea in here.
But I've said it so many times now that I feel like I need to clarify. But anyways, you know, your body changes, you get older. So now for me to effectively manage my weight and be healthy and feel good and you know, get the benefits of working out and liking where I am comfort wise, right? How my fit, my feel, my energy in the gym, all that stuff. I use calorie count. It's my tried and true method. Interestingly enough, though, it is something to be cautious about with kids. So how we balance that is I try not to make a big issue or really.
Would you do it in front of your kids?
Sometimes, but rarely. And when I do, I'm not like, hey, you know, and what I don't do is say to them, oh, you know, did you look at the calorie? I try to minimize that stuff, right? But one of the things that I think I do try to do is one, portion control. Like explain to them that as a society, we overeat, you know, and talk to them about, you know, how to manage that and kind of just getting them to feel like, hey, listen, if you take a little less food or use the smaller plate option, in 20 minutes, you're going to be okay. If you take a massive plate of food, you're going to eat it because you're not going to feel that sensation like to your brain, like of being full and satiated in time before the food's done. So, you know, just I use the plate thing a lot, right? Like, and then one of the other simple ways that I like too and work with my kids is just there should be a lot of color on the plate. It should be a rainbow of color on the plate, a very diversified plate. 2023, everything's diversified, even the plate. So I mean, I like to focus on diversification of food and portion size as, you know, some of the tactics.
So this is not a debate, I don't think, because I don't disagree with that approach.
Definitely not a debate.
This is not a debate. I look at it actually very differently. So we don't count calories. My child has no idea what a calorie is. But what we do is we focus on food choice and fuel, right? Food is fuel, not as whatever else it could be, right? Not as something you have to do, right? And so what we focus on is like, are we eating high quality foods, like good proteins, good fats, you know, versus processed foods, right? And sugar, right? So those are kind of the areas like where We're carnivores. You know, we get whole milk delivered to the house. We eat primarily meat with some vegetables. I mean, that's pretty much our diet. You know, do I have junk in the house sometimes? I do believe in balance. But I think that we minimize that. And my whole thing is like, instead of, if you're just dying for a snack or something like that, you know, grab one of those string cheeses. We got the whole milk string cheese. You know, grab an orange. Likes oranges, right? It's like I minimize what I have that's not those things. And it's just all about food choice. And I think that one of the things, I don't know if it's a consequence of me doing a good job, because I don't necessarily, because you always have the arguments with your kids about food choices, and they always want you to ask them what they want. It's like pizza, pasta with nothing else on it. I mean, all the things they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But for me, it's more like he now, like sometimes when he's down like that, I'm like, what did you eat today, brother? You know, it's like, oh, I had Cheez-Its. Like, yeah, man. You know what I mean? Like, or another thing I do is I don't make him eat breakfast anymore. I don't force him to eat, which I think is a big thing. It's like, because I think that the old way was like, and I think it was a scarcity thing.
Yeah.
A survival thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's like we didn't have enough food. So it was like, if you're not eating, we might not get it again.
Yeah.
And I think that's like what a lot of this is based on, just the fact that we didn't have food before. So it was like when we had it, we had to eat it, because we might not have it again.
And we mentioned this in another podcast when we were talking about, you know, I think we were talking about something related to living vicariously through your kids. How much of this stuff we forget how close we are to living in caves. Like, you know, or not even that, but having to hunt for our own food.
Yeah.
And not having a socioeconomic structure where food is not even thought about.
Right.
Nobody thinks I'm not going to be able to get food. We don't have that.
So I think that's a big part of it, is just like, it's not forcing him to eat all the time.
Yep.
And then also, but also encouraging, like, this is one thing I found. If I let him get away, when we do have a meal, if I let him get away with, like, sort of like, oh, yeah, I don't want to eat right now, I want to go to if I let him get away with that, then he's snacking the rest of the day. Where it's like, if I kind of force him to, like, hey, bite spud, then the rest of the day he's not constantly going back for a snack. I'm like, do you see the difference now? You know what I mean? Do you see that? Like, if we're gonna skip breakfast and we're gonna have a midday meal, eat that meal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, eat it. Like, and then, like, you won't feel sluggish. You won't feel hungry. Like, so for me, it's like less like, you know, it's more just food choices. Like, like, I'm a big believer. We all have our different education, is that we're not nutritionists. Neither one of us, right? Yeah. Just to clarify, don't take this advice. Just listen and get your own advice. Like, I'm a big believer in eating things that are, like you mentioned the word, satiating, right? So it's like, if you eat high fat meats and you eat, you know, good fats, right? And then you eat things with olive oil or butter, like, you know, good butter, and, like, you know, whole milk. Like, you eat satiating things and you aren't, like, as hungry as you are if you eat processed stuff, where a lot of the good stuff's been taken out of it. You know what I mean? Or you eat things high in sugar, which cause all sorts of issues with your blood sugar, and it makes you hungry at times when you shouldn't be hungry. And, like, you know, you can't eat just one Lay's potato chip, right? It's like, it's science. It's not just a marketing thing, right? It's like, you eat those things, you want to eat more. So I think it's food choices. If you eat things that are satiating, then you don't feel like, and you eat a decent amount of it, and you aren't hungry all the rest of the, you know, time.
Right. And, you know, one of the other things that we are not nutritionists.
We're not nutritionists.
My sister owns One Strong RI, and has done a lot of nutrition work with me and my kids. One of the things she told my son that was fantastic, as just a way to not overly focus on, okay, you know, can't eat this or can't eat that, was meal and food time should always be purposeful. So what does that mean? That means that if you are going to eat, you're not doing anything else. So you don't eat and sit and watch TV.
Right.
If you're hungry, you get food, you sit at a table, and you eat, and when you're done, you go back to what you're doing. If you're playing video games, you don't have food next to you, right? So it was getting him to make the conscious choice of, when I eat, I'm stepping away from activity to go eat, and then going back to activity. And it really just helped with minimizing the dead calorie intake and just being purposeful about eating, no matter what you're eating. It can be chicken, right? So what you're eating is one conversation, right? Being conscious of that. But if you are craving Cheez-Its, okay, so we're going to get a bowl, not the box.
Right.
We're going to put it in a bowl, like a reasonable size, amount of it. We're going to take it, we're going to sit, and we're going to consume it, and then we're going to press on. And that was it was helpful for me. Like really,
because you were just always grabbing a box of Cheez-Its and just
listening
having it with you when you gamed, when you did one of your gaming sessions.
Right. But I was doing that kind of eating unconscious, without even realize I was doing that kind of eating, and it just got me to put everything in a bowl. And I do it, and will measure out calorie count. My kids, they don't measure the calorie count, which is fine, but they're doing the same process of conscious eating.
Right.
And conscious eating is a great way to kind of a tool that you can use with your kids. And, part of this podcast is about the fact that we have to model these things.
Right.
If we grab the bag of chips and sit on the couch, they're going to do that.
Yeah.
If we, everything we're talking about is very strictly, we're talking about modeling behavior right now. They are going to follow in the footsteps of what we do and how they see us consume food, what foods they see us consume. Easiest way, Patrick, you mentioned it. What do we bring in the house?
Right.
What are the snack options in the house? Sometimes you just got to cut them out, and get rid of them.
Yeah.
If it becomes something that, isn't a problem, should you have no snack type No, that's not the way to go either, right? I don't agree with that. But it should be in proportion. If I went and bought 4 packages of chicken breasts, I should buy 1 package of Little Debbie snack cakes.
We don't have Little Debbie, but we have Cheez-Its. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that the conscious eating is sort of similar to what I said. Food is fuel, right?
Yeah.
It's you're not eating because there's a great benefit to enjoying food, and we always try and try new things, like spicy things or seafood things. I always try and take him out of his comfort zone and enjoy tasting things. But food is fuel, right? It's not just like something you snack on, right? It's something that you're using it for your day. One of the things I think I did want to address though is that, like, I don't know. I think it's my ex-wife, not myself. But some people just win the genetic Olympics, right? And it's like they didn't have to do anything. They just happened to have the genes that
externally.
I understand that. No, I understand that. But I'm saying like that where the challenge comes in is the kids that see people who can get away with eating bad. Like we all had friends. Like I had a friend who's still like the guy who fought, right? I mean, yeah, he's in freaking ridiculous shape when he was fighting, but like he never had to work to look cut. He didn't have to do anything. He walked out of the freaking 7-Eleven with a bag of combos and an energy drink and a Monster, and that's just what he looks like.
Right.
It's like, did he get a little bit more muscular and cut up and like does he look freaking fantastic when he's ready for a fight? But he won the genetic Olympics.
Yeah.
Right. And it's very difficult, I think, for kids to be in an environment where they've got a little extra pounds. Well, and especially at different times of their lives, especially during puberty when things are just out of whack, right? And they're maybe gaining some pounds in certain areas, right? And so, like in my case, and I'm fortunate in all the boys that I have, they've got her genes or her other ex-husband's genes, right? It's like those kids are all like they're not ever going to have a problem on the outside. So I think that's where it becomes difficult for some kids.
Yeah, it's important you stay on the outside because that's aesthetically,
But how we look on the outside is a big factor in everything. Well, it's like if you are big, then you feel like you can't lose it, right? Dieting's hard, right? And you feel like, how am I going to take this off? And it becomes that creates the obsession.
I agree.
A lot of times where it's like how you look, especially you're competing with everybody else. We talk about it all the time,
I agree. And I think we know that body fat is a precursor to a lot of other health things. So when we see that, we know, okay, that's a precursor.
Yeah.
But having
it's difficult as a father just seeing your kid go through that too.
Of course.
If they're bigger than their other friends.
Of course.
And I haven't had that experience as a father, but I've had that experience like with other kids that I've worked with or whatever it is. The kids got a couple extra pounds on them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and the other thing, a couple more minutes here, but one of the other things I want to bring up is the other thing that helps with this with your kids is you got to prepare foods. And when we have kids, we're all over the place with them. We're at sports, we're at this, we're at that. And if we aren't conscious about preparing for the day and preparing for the day from a nutrition standpoint, we will inevitably fail. And that's the best of us, right? That's all of us. That's me, that's you.
I think it's funny because we're so different in that.
I don't think we're as different as you think. I think that
I think the way that I prepare is we just don't have options. Right. So it's like we eat pretty vanilla.
No, but I'm saying, like, if you're out,
if you're talking about preparing, like, I'm just like, I'm not prepared. You know what I mean? I have stuff in the fridge. I know that it's basic. And I know that if we come back, I can throw a steak on the grill and we have steak and asparagus and boom.
Well, that to me is prepared.
Okay.
What I'm saying is you come back from soccer practice, you're like, oh, there's nothing in the house.
McDonald's.
We're going to go. Yeah. We got to get something.
I'm a big believer in McDonald's once a week.
What? Everything in moderation, right? McDonald's once a week will not kill anyone.
Right.
It won't kill anyone. And it becomes like a thing. Like, I look forward to that McDonald's meal. I get it. And it's not going to kill you. Right. So in the grand scheme of things, McDonald's every day, because you're out at practice every day,
right?
Different pattern, different habit. So,
and I don't eat it either because I'm always just like, look, like, like Dad doesn't need that fuel. I mean, I do it for you because it's fun for you the one time a week, but I don't eat with them.
Yeah. Sometimes a double cheeseburger is.
I freaking love some. I can't remember the last time at McDonald's, to be honest, but like, it's fantastic.
The next time he goes, just for prepare your day. Eat really well the rest of the day, and then get the double cheeseburger just to experience it one more time. It is heaven. It's gone quick, and you'll pay for it. And don't do it late at night because Jesus.
Yeah. But your lesson is, I think as fathers, we have to model.
You have to model.
We have to model. Whatever it is, whether you take a systematic approach where you're counting calories or whether you're just trying to say, okay, food choices, like, or your plate with your different colors. However you do it, I think it's more, for me, I think modeling is more important than instructing, right? Because like you said, you're not counting calories with the kids. You're just trying to help them, guide them. Right?
Yeah. Yep. They see it. They'll be around it. They'll pick up pieces of it and they'll benefit from it. Nutrition's the biggest component to a healthy lifestyle. It's more important than working out. It's more important than everything else that's out there is your nutrition. Model healthy nutrition activities for your kids. It'll bear great fruit for them now and in the future.
And it will be good for you too as a father because you'll have more, like, I've had times like I'm not the most fit person in the world, but I'm way fitter than I've been at other times in my life where like I just haven't had energy. And you can't run around with your kid.
Right.
And you're losing breath.
You want to enjoy life.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Great stuff. I'm Brian LaFauci.
Patrick Marino.
Until next time.
Thank you.